for 2023, we have a brand new generation Super Duty from Ford, fully redesigned outside and in, of course. We have more power, we have more payload, we have more towing capability, we have more tech. It's just extra everything. The one that we have here today is an F-250 Godzilla. That means it has a 7.3 liter V8, capable of towing over 17,000 pounds. And it's not a diesel. Let's take a look at what's new. So if we start with the key fob, that is not new. It looks the same as it did for the previous generation, but the front of the truck is new. We have new LED daytime running lights. We have a new grille. We have new headlights. All in all, just an improved look for the Super Duty. Now, if you want to buy a new Super Duty in 2023, you have 4 engine alternatives to pick from. So we have the entry-level 6.8 liter V8 with 405 horsepower and 445 pound-feet of torque. Now, if that's not enough, we have the Godzilla. This is a 7.3 liter V8 with 430 horsepower and 485 pound-feet of torque. That is best in class power and torque from a naturally aspirated V8. But if that's not enough, you of course can step up to the Power Stroke diesel, starting with the 6.7 liter regular Power Stroke diesel with 475 horsepower and 1,050 pound-feet of torque. But for 2023, you can get even more from the Power Stroke diesel, and it's called the High Output Power Stroke diesel with 500 horsepower and 1,200 pound-feet of torque, which is best in class for the diesels as well. So every time that Ford comes out with a new generation truck, whether it's an F-150, an F-250, 450, you get the point, they always have to hold the records, new records that is, for best in class towing and payload and all that good stuff. The new F-Series Super Duty with a gooseneck can tow up to 40,000 pounds, properly equipped that is, and it also has to be an F-450. You can also put 8,000 pounds in the bed, properly equipped. Our tester here today obviously can't do that. This is the, again, 7.3 liter Godzilla V8. It's not a Super Duty, it doesn't have the turbos, but it can still tow in this configuration 17,600 pounds. Now, something that is new for this generation, and I hate to say it as a Ford guy, I think they stole it from Chevy, is these little step bars here. We have them on each side of the bed, and then we have them over here as well. So no longer do you have to use the tire. You can actually use this. Look at that. And I mean, if we're being honest, Chevy had a good thing going here with these side steps that they've had for several years. So that's probably why, you know, Ford went with it as well. Now, we also have our step right here to get into the bed, which Ford has had for several years. Also a great feature. But to be honest, I don't think I would ever use it if I had it. So while the F-250 is completely redesigned, this is a new generation. I mean, it looks different, but it doesn't look that different from the previous gen. To me, it looks more like a facelift, a very good looking facelift, but not a complete redesign. But again, that's just a matter of opinion, and who cares about my opinion. So when you buy a new Ford pickup, whether it's a Super Duty or a regular F-150, you can pick different cab sizes. This one has what's called a super cab in Ford language, so it's basically a cab and a half. And then you have the Super Crew or the Crew Cab, which is a full 4-door. So Super Cab and Super Crew can get a little confusing, which is what I think happened with the customer that actually ordered this truck from my old place of work, Moon Township Ford, who is providing said truck in today's video. By the way, if you live in the Pittsburgh area and you're looking for a truck, maybe this one in particular, hit them up. I'll leave all their contact information in the description below. Anyhow, the customer ordered this truck thinking he was ordering a Super Crew, which is the full 4-door, but he got it confused with a Super Cab. And when the truck arrived, he said, I don't want it because, yeah, it doesn't have 4 doors. It has door here and then the kind of suicide looking door with just a regular back seat. So just remember, if you want full 4-door, it's called Super Crew or Crew Cab in Ford language. not the Super Cab. Now, what is completely new for the 5th generation of the Super Duty is the interior. However, if you're a Ford truck guy like myself and have had the latest generation F-150 like myself, which I took delivery of at the end of 2020, by the way, so it's 2.5 years ago, it's not new. It looks exactly the same as it's done in the F-150 for several years. So while it is a very, very nice interior, it doesn't really feel all that new if you've owned the latest generation F-150 already. However, as we start the truck up, we get some cool graphics that we don't see in the F-150. So we got the F-Series 75 years on the infotainment screen here, which is pretty cool. We got the year 48 to 23, and the digital instrument cluster with the tachometer and the speedometer looks slightly different than it does in an F-150. But the steering wheel, everything is the same, location of the buttons. Now, one cool little touch that we don't see in the F-150 is this Super Duty badging right there. I have to say that's a nice touch. Then we have the glove box here, and we have a second part right up there by clicking that button. But the 12-inch screen is the same as in the F-150, and all these climate buttons and so on are the same as well. Now, we are sitting in a Lariat, which is the mid-range trim, I would have to say, because it starts with an XL, you go up to an XLT, then it's a Lariat, then you can go to a Platinum and a King Ranch and a Limited and so on. In a Lariat, you get the leather, you have the cooled seats, heated steering wheel, nice 360 camera, great resolution, especially being a Super Duty when you want to back up to a trailer and so on. We have the auxiliary upfitter switches here. We got a Bang & Olufsen stereo system. And then we have the interior work surface, which is an option, and it is different from an F-150. So we got 2 cup holders right here. If we pull this lever in here and pull, it brings the table up to here, and then you have 2 more cup holders and a cubby right there, and then you can actually pull this out a little bit. It's just a very nice feature to have, especially if you're on a job site. Leather is black onyx, which it looks exactly the same as it did in my F-150. So again, not to be too repetitive here, the interior is just very familiar from an F-150 and the way that they've looked for several years now. Now, with it being a Super Duty, you obviously notice the difference when driving the truck versus an F-150. I know I keep comparing the two and they're not really comparable at all, but you could just tell this is a Super Duty truck. Difference in the suspension versus the F-150 is more like a luxury pickup. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how long Ford sticks with this big displacement V8 7.3 liter Godzilla, with just the way that the climate in today's automotive world looks. Now, this is a heavy duty work truck, or at least it's supposed to be, so I think the rules are just slightly different there, and Super Duty like this doesn't sell as much as an F-150 does either. It's just very impressive that this thing can tow over 17,000 pounds with a naturally aspirated V8. Now, it is impressive how Ford can make a big work truck like this feel smooth. Although it's not obviously an F-150, it's an F-250. Now, I've driven this truck today 40 miles, and we're averaging 11.7 miles per gallon, and that is combined driving with city and obviously a highway. Now, while I love a big displacement V8, just like the next man, when it comes to a big truck like this and you want to have a lot of stuff in the bed and you want to tow a lot, even though this engine is very capable, I think the Power Stroke would still be the choice for me. With the additional torque and even the additional power, I think it would actually help on longer trips if you're towing a lot with the fuel economy as well. It is amazing how they can make a naturally aspirated V8 tow as much as this is capable of doing. But for the longevity, when it comes to towing a lot, I think that the Power Stroke would be the better option. But it is very cool that Ford does have a 7.3 liter naturally aspirated V8 option though. So how much does it cost to buy a new 5th generation Super Duty. Well, of course, it depends on how you spec it and what features and so on you want. What we can do today is look at the one that we're filming, and this is $69,535. Base price is $61,410, and this specific truck has options for $6,230. Yeah, trucks get more and more expensive for every new year, every new model that comes out. That's just the fact of the matter. They also get a lot more capable for every new model that comes out. We have more power, more towing capability, more payload capability, more tech, more everything. Now the 5th generation Super Duty does everything that the previous generation did, but better. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the review of the 2023 F-250 Godzilla. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And once again, I want to give a special thanks to my old employer, Moon Township Ford, for providing the truck in today's review. I actually have to hurry back because they have a guy that wants to test drive it. So maybe this will be sold. If it's not, keep an eye on their website if you're in the market. Until next time, bye-bye.